What's some advice you have for other Hmong farmers in working with NRCS and FSA?
I would say that it's so important to any resource that you need requires record keeping, and that's one thing that like the Hmong farmers don't have is record keeping. And so like I'm working with a farmer looking for a house right now to raise goats, and they've had like they weren't able to like locate land to even rent. So they went to a local lender, a computer, I think, and they said, "Oh, you need 2 years of records of showing that you've worked on a dairy farm." And they want to buy the dairy farm to do goat farming, but they have experience, but just no like written experience, right? So I want to say, first off, is like in order to secure any funding, they want at least 2 to 4 years of like record keeping. Schedule F, even if it's like a hobby farm, I was telling them, I was like, you just need some form saying and proof saying that you've gone through some kind of training. And like some training happens in their country, but like that doesn't count, for FSA. So there's so much setbacks as I'm shopping for land for a lot of my clients for real estate. I'm starting to realize that like I'm telling them about all these resources, and then they would go to the lender or they would go to them and they're like, oh yeah, they told us we need 2 years of like records, and we don't have any records. We just have it like we can by mouth, like I could verbally tell you how to do it, but I don't know. I don't have any paperwork. So it's
Hmm.
so hard for people to secure the financing because they don't have record keeping. So I would say the first thing is like Katie, who's working with the land access navigators and as a consultant through Big River Farms, is she does consulting on the side for that for business planning. So I would say to hook up with someone like that, or to, and everything costs money, even to like put together some kind of business plan, or they don't even know that there's a resource like Katie around. And she's probably the only one in the whole entire state of Minnesota that is a land access navigator, right? So that people of color know, or if they do know, then it's like their friend is referring someone else to her, and I'm sure she has like she's really busy, but
Yeah, Jennifer Nelson works in Western Wisconsin as well.
mhm. Yeah,
So
and Jennifer, yep, and
yeah,
and there's like Eli, and there's a whole bunch of people, access navigators. But then there is no Hmong speaking land access navigator. So it just, there's
yeah.
like I was, part of the group, and then I had to leave because I was just overcommitted. But that would be one advice I have for the Hmong farmers, is that they need to hook up with a professional to like start with their bookkeeping and their business plan, so that way when they go to lenders they would have that, and they wouldn't even know what lender to go to or where to start. So I think it's a constant uphill battle, but that would be the first advice, like if they have any children that could help them get that 2 years, and then file for a Schedule F for at least 2 years, so that way you can go to FSA or to NRCS and show them that you have been renting, or like a lease from a farmer that you've been leasing for them, that you have some experience already. But again, they don't have any record keeping, so they can't track like how much they've sold. It's just they've been just doing it as a hobby, but now they need these resources, and then they need to formalize income, and formalize an entity and stuff like that, and those things are not accessible to them.
Do you have any tips for, NRCS or FSA agents and how they can better serve Hmong farmers?
I would say to have like speaking, like among speaking staff that does outreach to educate them, because there's not anything efforts right now. I think like there's people there that, because I speak perfect English, so I can just call the lender and ask them, what form do you need, or what do I need? And then I've gone to like these conferences that tells me about, EQIP and the Big River Farms, and it's like a repetition for me every year, so I know of the resources. And I work in with Big River Farms, and I work with other farmers and educate them about resources. So like I know about it because I'm informed, because that's my like career. But I don't think like just any farmers know about it right now. So, and then I've gone on Hmong radio to like mention about resources, and then people would call me, and then I would direct them to the website, but that's all I would do is I would take them to the website and say, okay, this is where you find more information. If you have a child, like have them help you walk through it and complete an application, or I would, give them the contact at FSA. And I don't know how far they take it after I give them the resource, if they actually did follow through with it, or they don't call me back, so like I had someone yesterday looking for insurance, for liability insurance for farmers market. Well, not until the farmers market asked for it, they didn't even know. So then I was shopping around for liability insurance for one of our farmers. So yeah, so I think it's just that there's probably not enough efforts in outreach because they're probably already so busy with their current workload that like they're not strategizing ideas of like how and why we should outreach, especially when they don't have the records, right? Like, why should we be reaching out to a population that doesn't keep records, and doesn't have 2 years of experience? Like, that's probably not the right audience, according to them, right? To be informing. So then it seems like it's an uphill battle. It's for somebody who speaks English and then, yeah, and somebody who knows of the resources and somebody who already has records in their system, right? And then that automatically has already eliminated it for those who don't have any, right? So then I think it's just kind of, yeah, I will tell Hmong farmers, oh, how did you get one of those? And then they would probably like start saving right now. Like, I'm like, oh, one of those is $10,000. And then they will be like, okay, well, we'll start saving and then we'll just go buy one. I mean, that's like what they're thinking, or it's kind of like a car, right? Or they're like, is there like a payment plan or a credit card? Maybe we can go buy it, and leverage like debt that way. So it's just probably easier that way, right? To like apply for a loan or, cause even the loan process, I want to say was difficult, right? Cause like my tractor loan took me, I mean, I speak perfect English and I still thought it was really hard. I had to prove cash flow and, figure out how I'm going to pay it back. And then first you have to get denied through a traditional lender. Did you know that? So like through FSA, you have to go to come here and figure out that you have too much debt and not enough income or something. So almost like, the question I have for most people is, you have to be show that you can't qualify through a traditional lender even before you go to FSA loan. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you have to show them that you're not successful but successful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the step one to get an FSA loan is go to a traditional lender
Yeah,
and get denied, and then you go to FSA, and then it's they'll like do sort of riskier loans maybe
right.
with like does it have lower interest rates than
Yeah,
normal?
supposedly it's like lower interest rate. I think like right now it's kind of high just because it's at like farm ownership is at 3.25, which it was 2.285 like 4 months ago when I looked at it. So, the market, it does trend with the market and it is a higher risk loan, right? So then I feel like then they take that on to like their interest rate. So yeah, but I think like operating loan right now is less, I believe. They're still at the two something. So yeah, you're correct. I think they're taking like a higher risk on you by alleviate and then giving you that lower interest rate, knowing that you're first time. So it's kind of like a give and take, right? It's like, how do you make yourself unsuccessful and successful? So like, it's just
But if
I'm
you're
trying.
successful, then you don't really have to worry about it because
Correct.
you,
Yeah. Then
yeah.
right, it's like they're confused because they're like, wait, what? We're applying for a loan. If we got that loan, that'd be great. I was like, yeah, if we get this loan, this would be great. But you're not going to get that loan. But they already disqualified themselves because they don't have any records from, you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
so you don't even qualify because you don't have 2 years to bring to the lender or to them. So,
Yeah, so it's basically 2 years paying taxes as a farmer, Schedule
mhm,
F,
correct.
a business plan,
Hmm.
and then getting denied by a
Come
traditional
here.
lender, and then going through
Correct.
the FSA process.
Right.
So, how long does the FSA process usually take?
Um, I don't know. It took me, I don't know, a year to buy the land, because I think the government had a shutdown when I bought it.
Oh,
So yeah, that was like 2 years ago. So I think the government shut down like four times the year when I was buying it. So I honestly thought I wasn't even gonna get it at one point. I was like, oh, I think we're just kind of submitting it to submit. So if anything, I think I should be the one to quit already. And then the tractor loan, I think I was on them like every day. Like, hey, what's my application? Like, it's we're gonna plant in May, and we're like using the BCS, and we've got 5 acres. So she had three other applications before me, so like it took time. So I want to say that application took me. I started in December, and it's May now, so December, January, February, March, April, May, so 5 months. And like you're inside their caseload, right? So you're not necessarily like, it doesn't work like a for profit where like your application comes in and we give you like a 2 week turnaround. You know what I mean? At least 2 weeks, or like it's kind of like a work in progress. Like you put in your application, then it takes time, and then it depends on where your application falls between everyone, because there's priority, right? Like other people came in also before you that needs to be seen. So you have to be very patient with the process.
Can you explain a little bit more of the process with going to NRCS and getting an EQIP
Yeah, that
grant?
one took me 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like I didn't qualify. So I put in the application when we bought the land, and I didn't have a loan, right? Because I was like, oh yeah, like we're not even sure we're gonna get the loan, but let's put it in anyways because we could at least put it up at Big River Farms, or we were leasing. But that took me, I want to say maybe 2 to 3 months to get the approval, and then once we got it, then they give you like half the money first, and then when you finish, then they give you the remaining half. So I believe like, or wait, I don't know how it works. I think what she said was they give it all to you, or half or something like that, and you can pay for half of it, but then it's like a cost share, right? And I think you pay it all, and then they will like reimburse you or something. I don't recall, but she explained something like that to me for NRCS, and I have to verify that. But this one, it took us 2 years ago. So when I bought the land, I was like, since we didn't have the loan, and we would like a season extension at Hugo, we applied for it. So I got denied last year, and then this year they had another round of funding. And so they will ask you at the end of the year to be like, hey, did you want to go back and put in an application for the next year? And so you're kind of like on this waiting list, and then you hope that like they choose you because you're on priority.
Do you still need the same kind of qualifications, like 2 years of Schedule F and then a business plan?
No, I believe it's just the application because it just has to be income qualifying. So it's not as, but I do recall that they did need some, there's an additional form that indicated like my business, how much my business was making, like a profit loss. So, but it's not as long as the home farm ownership loan or the operating loan.
And does NRCS also like help you plan out where you're going to put it and stuff like that, or is it just basically the money? Or
Yeah, I think like they just asked for a picture of where it's gonna go, and then they just did a site visit last week. Michelle did. She's awesome. She just came out, and then we were looking at like doing some conservation efforts, but supposedly they do like fencing, and they do like if you were gonna raise animals and stuff like that. And we were looking at ways to like drain our property so that way we could get more access to more farmland. So that was all she did, was she just did a walkthrough to make sure where we were going to put it, and then made sure that we had a manual that we actually knew how to put it up, and then whoever was putting it up knew how to do it because they didn't want the high tunnel like falling apart. And then told me that like it was going to take time to like administer the first half, and then the second half comes later or something like that. So
yeah, is there anything else you want to share about the process of working with NRCS?
I think like I believe I email them a lot. So like just kind of over communicate because they have so many people that they work with that sometimes like you are maybe like just a number in the system too. So like just develop those relationships, and like I'm sure everybody there knows me now because I call them like every week to like be like, hey, where's this? Or Michelle, like I was thinking of raising some chickens. Like I heard you guys have money, can you let me know about that process, or would we qualify, or what kind of fencing do you guys provide? Is it tall enough or the deers can't jump in and then the chickens might not go out? Like just every question that I had, I'm constantly calling them because I don't know. And like I have nowhere else to go. And the website is like, it just seems so much information. I don't know how to, I mean, I speak perfect English, but like I just don't know how to navigate their system. So I'll just call them and be like, can you send me the form that you need for this? And then they'll email it to me.